Oh my goodness, guys, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for letting me, especially Jason, Eric, who has given me just a few minutes. Promise to do my best. I'm going to get through this quickly, but I wish I could be there with you out there in Ohio. I love what Jason's put together on the agenda, and Eric and some of the other visitors that have come and traveled showed up to really help all of you build your business. So thank you, especially you two, for your mentorship and any other leaders that are out there. You're in my heart. I'm in the mountains right now, by the way. That's why I can't be there, but you're in my heart, and I'm thinking of you. So hopefully this pre-recording will have to do. But anyways, Jason did ask me to fill in on this topic, which is a very passionate topic of mine, and that is mindset. So I put together some thoughts here for how to develop a relentless mindset. And it's important because mindset, that toughness aspect of what we do, that's super important to push us through. So hopefully here's some tools, some tips. I have a download at the very end that you can get. This is my way of hoping to empower you to have that mental toughness to keep going. So first of all, though, let's start with the foundation, okay? You're all here, good or bad or ugly, right? We are where we are in our lives, and it's all a sum total of our decisions. Now, that some of you might feel a little uncomfortable with me telling you that. It's on you, okay? You're here because of you. And there's coaches and there's parents and there's other people that have influenced our lives, and so there's circumstances. There's the government, and there's laws and all kinds of things. But you know what? At the end of the day, our results or our lack thereof, those are on us. And we have to own them in order to operate from a place of truth and power. If we're always thinking it was something else, we're never really going to get to the bottom of it. So start, if you haven't yet, day one, I own everything in my past. Good, the bad, and the ugly. But here's the good news, okay? There is good news here. Your past could be perfect. What if your past was perfect? And here's how that could be the case. You're thinking, my past is full of all kinds of stuff. Well, mine too. Welcome to life, right? However, your past, for good or bad, got you on the road to this very moment in time, in this room, surrounded by these people. And sometimes life has a funny way of getting us where we need to be. And it doesn't look obvious at first, but I'm here to challenge you on that thought that there's a reason you decided, or somebody invited you, or something happened, and you're here now with the right opportunity on the right team at the right time to build a massive online business. So you got to look at that, and you got to say to yourself, maybe my past is perfect. Maybe my past, it was ugly, it was bumpy, but I'm here right now, and I have my whole life ahead of me. So my question is, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Love that question, right? Well, let's jump into it. So first of all, brain versus mind. I'm going to go through this kind of quick. Your mind is the seat of your consciousness. Your mind is what separates us from the rest of the creatures in the world, right? We have a mind. They have brains, but we have minds. Now, an easy way to think about that is brain, of course, is the tangible. It's like the hardware if you buy a computer system. The mind, intangible, it's the software. It's what runs the place, okay? But without the mind, the brain just kind of, it's an organ, right? The mind is what activates everything, and that's what we have control over. So mindset, interesting choice of words, is going to be a set of your beliefs and your values and how you see the world. It's also an interesting word in that we set goals, we set parameters, we set boundaries, right? We do a lot of setting. We set an alarm clock. I don't know why I threw that one in there, but hey, we do, right? So we set things because it's a specific criteria. It's something specific that we want. Well, if you look at your mindset, you've got people with growth mindset, and you've got people with a limited mindset. That's different sets of beliefs. And what's yours? Well, we're going to explore that over the next few minutes here. So interesting word. I love mindset. And if you break it down, just kind of get the gears going there a little bit. How you see everything. Okay, I love this, okay? How do you see the world? If I'm looking around, I'm seeing the world in full color. I'm fortunately not colorblind. But what if I put on some lenses, okay? And I look like a stud, right? I put on my lenses and I look at the world. Now the world's different. Let me show you what I'm seeing. You see that? The world's no longer full color. It's blue, okay? But it's true to me because this is what I see. Everywhere I turn, it's blue. But my friend next to me has on his red glasses. And he's going, no, dude, it's not blue. I don't see blue anywhere. It's definitely red. The world we live in is red. And this guy's going, no, I promise you there's no red. This is a blue world for sure. Do you see where I'm going with this? We all have our lenses. And we judge each other by our lenses, interestingly enough. And yet, who's right? Am I right or am I right? Well, they're both right and they're both wrong. Why? Because the world has red in it and the world has blue in it, but it's not all red and it's not all blue. So when we show up and start projecting our experience on our circumstances and start interpreting what things mean, it's all from our lens that's formed over decades of time. Interaction with teachers and coaches, our parents, how we were raised, where we were raised, the era that we were raised in. You look at the nuances of people raised in technology today versus the baby boomers. All those factors are what shapes someone's lens, how they see the world. Did they go to war or not? Are they married? Did they have children? Were they raised in big families? Were they religious? On and on and on. And we all have a lens, and that's how we show up in the world. Now that you're aware of this, the question is, what can you do about your lens? What if you don't like your lens, right? Mindset doesn't change your circumstances. It changes how you see your circumstances. I'm not making the room blue right now. I'm seeing it as blue, but in reality, it's not. Okay, so mindset, but that's in a negative way. Mindset can also operate in a positive way. I can see the world in a fresh perspective, even though it doesn't change my circumstances. Changing how I see them is everything. Okay? So, change how you see things and your world changes. I love that concept as it pertains to mindset. All right, here's an example. Success, right? How do we define success? Well, I'll give you a hint. A lot of us define success kind of in a way that's unachievable or it's too big to wrap our minds around. Maybe success is, it has to do with the finish line. Like, I want to be the fastest person at the race, or I want to make $1 million, or I want to live in the mountains in a mansion and own, 40 acres and a pond, or I want or whatever. It's a finish line, but it's not. Because once you get there, there's always going to be another finish line. As long as you're alive, as a human, we always want the next level, and it may not even be monetary. But it has to do with something. We're always in motion going towards something. And when we get there, it's a facade because we're always looking for the next thing after that. So success has more to do with the starting line than the finish line. That might be something you've never thought of. And what do I mean by starting line? It means this is you today. The further away you can get from that in terms of progressing and becoming someone better towards your goals, improving, right? You don't want to be your old version. You want to be a new version of yourself. That distance, the further you get, that's called success. Now, it's a process and it's a journey. And you've probably all heard that you got to find happiness in the journey, right? It's the becoming that is successful. Success isn't an event. It's a process. If you're better today than you were yesterday, you don't have to have the $1 million in your bank account. You can celebrate the fact that you are becoming successful by simply changing how you look at success and how you view it through a slightly different lens. What that does is that empowers you to see things in a fresh light and start celebrating things you weren't celebrating before. Law of attraction. We've all heard this, and it's usually in some kind of a woo-woo kind of a fashion, right? Law of attraction is you think it, and then it magically appears. Well, it doesn't really work that way. If you notice, The word action is actually the majority of the word, more than half of the word attraction, the word action. There's one day that I noticed that when I was reading, I'm like, hold on. The law of attraction is a lot about thinking, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a big, we're going to talk more about that too. Getting your mindset right, thinking the right thoughts. But I'm here to tell you that most of your problems will be solved by then taking action. So as you think of the law of attraction and mental toughness and doing, sharpening your mindset, yes, it is thought work, but then you got to get to work. Okay? So just keep that in mind as we move forward. So starting with this topic, willpower. I love this word. Willpower is your mental battery. Definition is the ability for you to resist short-term temptations to meet long-term goals. So you're on a diet, right? You go to a friend's house, they pull out your favorite donuts fresh from the store. You have to say no. That's willpower, right? Or on the contrary, you wake up and you're like, oh, I got a dial today. And the last thing that you want to do is pick up the phone. But you make yourself do it anyways, because if I don't dial today, I'm not running appointments tomorrow. So willpower, right? You're pushing yourself to do things you don't want to do. Now, willpower is an interesting thing because it depletes just like a battery, but you can also preserve and recharge it. I know that meditation, sleep, exercise, reading, those are things that can recharge my battery. You probably have your own list of things. But when we get into our day, a lot of times we don't pause and do that. We'll do a little bit in the morning, maybe in the evening. But during the day, we can run out of willpower. So it's important to do some things that preserve or slow down the depletion of your willpower. Here's what I mean. I call these mindset hacks, okay? What we're doing is we're offloading conscious energy draining decisions and we're moving them over to our subconscious. So our subconscious is like 95% of our brain, right? And it has capacity. I mean, this is the mothership, mother load, whatever, the CPU unit, and it's got capacity. So our conscious mind is smaller and more limited. If we can get stuff out of there and shift it over to subconscious, we figure out how to do that, you can free up a lot of space, and your battery, your willpower battery, won't deplete nearly as fast. So 3 environments. I'm going to go through these really quick, but this is partly how you do it. Your physical first. What does your office look like? Are there piles everywhere? Those are draining, right? Are there things that you mean to get to? Is it unclean? It feels dirty, stinky, whatever. It's your environment where you're hanging out all day. Keep it organized, keep it clean, make it something you look forward to going into. All the places and all the things where things are. Take, an afternoon, not during appointment time, ideal appointment time, but take some time and just go through some of those old piles that have been sitting there a while. Because every time you walk by them, you're reminding yourself that you didn't do something, and it's draining. So physical environment, right? You don't stack if you're on a diet trying to lose weight, you don't stack your pantry full of donuts. That's your physical environment. Social environment is who you talk to and hang out with. Y'all are doing a great job of that today. You drove or flew, some of you maybe, all the way to Ohio, to this place, Jason's office, and you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are on a similar journey. You're all going to rub off on each other and you're going to be stronger for it. We become like who we hang around. This is why we're so adamant. Please join us on our Zoom calls. We have our team meetings once a week. We have dial sessions. Leaders are there teaching and training. If you're not around the team, it's like taking a log out of the fire. It's slowly going to burn down and go cold. You got to stay in the fire, right? So you become like those you hang around. That's your social environment. The other part of your social environment is your feed, okay? Your social media feed. Algorithms are real smart. They pick up on all those nuances and they serve you what you tell them you want. Take a fresh look at yours. What is Facebook feeding you? What is Instagram feeding you? What have you told the world that you like? Maybe it's time to clean up the feed. Maybe it's time to close some of those down or say, don't show me any more of these, and start retraining social media. You're part of your social environment to give you good stuff, to feed your mind and prepare you for your mental environment, which is the last one. What's going into that mind? Someone once asked a mentor, well, how often do I have to work on my mindset? I think it might have been Zig Ziglar, I can't remember. But his answer was, well, how often do you have to shower? You say, well, every day. Why? Because I get dirty? Well, guess what? You're going to have negative thoughts every day. You're never going to get there. It's a lifelong process. So we always need to be feeding our minds. If you're driving down the road, exercising, whatever, if you got time, read a book, plug into a podcast. You never stop feeding this beautiful thing that God gave us called our minds. Systems, processes, and habits. I'm not going to jump into these in detail. If you want a book that covers this better than any I've ever read, it's Atomic Habits. You need to read Atomic Habits. It's a phenomenal book. And James Clear, I think, is the author. And he articulates better than anybody I know. But if you can get your systems, processes, and habits down, really what you're doing is automating your tasks so you're not thinking about it, so you don't have to think of that choice. Am I going to do this or not? You can offset it over to your subconscious mind because it now becomes just part of who you are and what you do, freeing up your mental battery so your willpower is intact for more important things. I don't have to convince myself to brush my teeth every night. I just do it. Why? Because I've always done it, and I know I'm supposed to. I don't particularly like it, but I just do it. Dialing could become that. It's just something that we do. Running appointments. I don't make it a big thing. It's just something I do every week, right? It's become part of who I am. So I don't have to spend time. Should I dial? Should I not dial? Should I run appointments? How many should I do this week? Make those decisions once and make them part of what you do on a regular basis. Your systems, your processes, routines I could throw in there, and your habits. Programming your mindset. This is really simple stuff. It's just repetition. And it's hard at first, but it's repetition. We all know the example of an IUL. You make a premium payment, you look at your cash value the next month. It's about the same. You make another premium payment, look at your cash value. Hasn't really changed. Make another premium payment. You see where I'm going? Fast forward 20 years, look at your cash value. Compound interest and time makes that chart go whoop, just like that. Guess what? We get compound interest right here. Every deposit we make, every thought we think, every effort to retrain how we think and clear out the cobwebs and that negative mindset, that is all deposits into your cash value account, and it's going to pay off huge down the road. Put reminders up around your office. Physical environment, right? Our minds become inundated with clutter and noise. And if we don't have our goals and even reminders of our affirmations and what we want to believe and think, if we don't have them posted up around in our bedroom and when we wake up and, et cetera, everywhere, we're going to forget. We're going to forget what we're all about. And then if you catch yourself thinking negative, okay, catch and correct, but don't criticize. We don't want to be so harsh on ourselves. We want to catch and correct. It's normal. Our brains are monkey brains. They're going to just, try to keep us safe. We don't want risk. We don't want chance. We want everything predictable. Our brains are wired that way. And they're wired for being really negative. And they tell lies, frankly, quite a bit to ourselves. This is all going on in our head. So catch yourself. If you catch something that's a little negative or a little off, correct it. And I'll give you some suggestions on that, but don't criticize yourself. This is where you can get that. If you want to pull out your phone and scan this and download, I put together a little sheet. It's just a one-pager if you want to put it up on your office or whatever. But it's 8 mindset principles and then examples of how we sometimes talk to ourselves and then how we could clean that up. So if you see a pattern with how you're thinking, and you see some suggestions, these are some ways you can start those mini repetitions. You can clean that up inside your head and get that mindset where it needs to be so you have that mental toughness. Again, small reps sustained over a long period of time. You're going to come out of the gym looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger someday, but it's not going to happen on the first visit. Okay, so thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me be a part of your training. Again, I wish I could be there with you, but so excited about the rest of the day. You've got a ton of stuff coming up. I've seen the agenda. Super jealous that I'm not there, but I am there in spirit. I'll just close with this. Since I can't see you today, I hope to see every one of you in Phoenix. I'll be there in my t-shirt and shorts and sunglasses because it'll be hot. No, I'm kidding. But guys, I'm just telling you, if you haven't got your ticket yet, please do. But I hope to see every single one of you. And those that I haven't met yet, please come up and introduce yourselves. I'll see you in Phoenix in July. Have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you for letting me be a part of your training today. Take care. Bye.